Hello, I'm Christine. I haven't had a haircut in over a year. I haven't been to a restaurant in 9 months. I've come to own at least 10 new pairs of sweatpants. It's 2020, y'all, and it's time for the favorite books of 2020. Yeah! I make this list every year. So if you need more recommendations, I have a video from 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, and 2012. I've got 10 books for y'all this year. It's been a really crap year, but I read some really great books. Coming in at 10 on my list today is I'm Still Here, Black Dignity in a World Made for Whiteness by Austen Channing Brown. It's part of Reese's book club. I'd really like this not to be on here. This is ruining the cover. I just got the hard copy of this because I wanted to have it solidly. I listened to the audiobook. It hit hard in the most important of ways. It is a memoir from Austen Channing Brown, who is a black woman whose parents gave her the name Austen, which is a common white man's name, as a tool to help her more easily move through the world as a black woman in America. This book is so personal, it's so vulnerable, and it's so beautifully written. I'm so glad I have a physical copy now to put on my shelf. Coming in at number 9 is the Curse of Dark and Lonely series. I finished A Curse of Dark and Lonely at the end of December after I had filmed my favorite videos of 2019, and I loved it so much. If you've been here for a while, you know how much I don't like Beauty and the Beast. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I can see, yes, I see the parallels, but like, it's so different in all the best ways. The characters in this book are so strong, and I absolutely love the romance. It's a slow burn. So it's about this young girl who's taken from like our realm, kidnapped to this other realm that's fairy tale-esque. There's a prince, and this prince has a curse on him, as they do in Beauty and the Beast retellings, and he's stuck reliving the same season over and over again until he can make someone fall in love with him. Thus, they kidnap girls from our realm and bring them into theirs because they've already taken so many girls from their own realm. It's really good, trust me. And I read A Heart So Fierce and Broken at the beginning of 2020. Absolutely loved it. It is such a great sequel, and it really delves into a character in A Curse of Dark and Lonely that isn't at the forefront, but we love him. In A Heart So Fierce and Broken, he's the lead, and he has his own love story happening. So much is connecting, and I'm so excited for the third book. I did the audiobook for these. The audiobook is excellent. If you're noticing a pattern, yes, I do read a lot of audiobooks. If you don't know, I'm an Audible affiliate, and you can use my link in the description to get your first audiobook for free. The fantasy elements aren't overwhelming, which is another thing I love about these. The world that the prince is in feels very grounded. It's easy to jump into. The dialogue is funny. They're great. They're really good. They're so good. Coming in at number 8, Smash It by Francina Simone. It was like a breath of fresh air in how real it felt. All the friendships and all the cliques and all the issues she's going through ring so true of high school in a way that like you don't see as raw in a lot of other contemporaries. She has so many different crushes. There's so many different love lines going on in this book, which I had so much fun with. Our lead character, Olivia, has tried out for the play, so we have this like whole high school musical background plot happening. It's really sex positive. There are F-bombs. I mean, it just feels like more of a bridge between like YA and new adult, which should just be considered YA because you're a young adult. Our lead character is a junior, I think. She is in the YA age range, but it feels a little older because a lot of YA in the past has skewed younger. There are these invisible restrictions on young adult literature. Like, you're not supposed to curse too much. There's not supposed to be drinking. There's not supposed to be too much sex. Smash It breaks all those boundaries because those are real things that high school students are dealing with. This is the first YA book that I've read that really tackles multiple romance plot lines in such a female positive way. It's so anti-slut shaming. It's really funny and neurotic, and she has this bucket list of things that she's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it this year. I'm a big fan of a protagonist with a list of shit that they're gonna push themselves to accomplish. That's almost an auto read for me. I see a list, I'm like, yes, that protagonist, I love her, give it to me. Coming in at 7 today is a Coho book that came out in 2020. Heartbones is on the list. This book pulled me out of such an anxious reading slump rut. It made me realize how much I had missed reading. Made me remember how much I enjoyed reading books that I enjoy. You almost lose yourself a little bit in the drama of the year. I picked up Heartbones and I started looking forward to getting up in the morning so that I could read this book, and looking forward to my shower, not just because I love showers, but so I could read this book, and looking forward to like every free moment alone. I was reading this book. When I was eating, I was looking forward to reading my book, and that's something that I used to be able to do all the time. I haven't done that in so long. I haven't wanted to do it until I picked up Heartbones, and it reignited that craving to sit with a book in my hand. It's best to go into Colleen Hoover books if you can without knowing what it's about. At the start of this book, a girl who just graduated high school finds her mom dead from a drug overdose. She doesn't live with her dad. She doesn't see him very often. She ends up living with him for the summer. He has a serious girlfriend, and that girlfriend has a daughter her age. They're on a house near the beach. She has this whirlwind summer where she's grieving her mother but also finding herself. And this is the first time where like she has people supporting her in a way where she can do things for fun, and it's real good. Coming in at 6, Wayward Sun, the second book in the Carry On series. When it comes down to it, this was a road trip book about a group of friends from England driving across America to Las Vegas. This magic system was so fascinating to learn more about, and while you're learning more about this magic system and how it works in England versus America, you also have these amazing characters and this fantastic, witty back and forth between the four of them. It's such a fun dynamic. This was such a fun read. I enjoyed it way more than Carry On, so I'm very excited to see how the trilogy wraps up. Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. Coming in at 5 this year is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey Quiston. Oh, you know what I didn't mention? I read Wayward Sun with my eyes. All with my eyes, man. It felt good. It felt good. I also read Heartbones with my eyes. But when I need that audiobook and it's excellent, that is a huge bonus. And Red, White, and Royal Blue had that amazing audiobook. You probably already read Red, White, and Royal Blue. You probably already read Red, White, and Royal Blue. Is this a tongue twister? You've probably already read Red, White, and Royal Blue. Last year. Everyone read it last year. I didn't. So I was playing catch up. It was excellent. It was so funny, and the love story was so good. It's a prince of England and the first son in the White House. After I listened to it, I started just rereading it. I'm still in the middle of rereading it. Every night before bed, I listen to 5 to 10 minutes of the audiobook to fall asleep to, because it's so good. I love these characters. I love the friend group. I love the back and forth traveling for romance. It's really, really good, and it's really, really happy making and enjoyable. I love their email so much. It's a long distance kind of forbidden relationship where they like have to see each other in different cities, and in the beginning it's hate to love. It has everything. What else could you want? At 4, A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor by Hank Green. I don't know if you remember An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. I really enjoyed reading it. Like, it didn't hit that favorite mark. It didn't hit that point in my heart where I'm like, oh, that's one of my favorites. A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. Completely different story. This year was extra hard to sit down and read a book with my eyes. I heard Hank talking about the audiobook for this. I was like, why not give it a go? I read the other one with my eyes, but totally down to give the audiobook a chance, and it was so good. It was like listening to a movie, except a book. You know what audiobooks are like. And the content of the book was fantastic. I wish I was able to make a book talk for this book. I already feel like the details have slipped away from me, but it's so mysterious in such a fun way. You have to put together the pieces, and you know how much I love to put together pieces. You kind of always think about, what if that happened? Then it happens in this book, and it feels so real. We're down to the top three. That came really fast. Number 3, favorite book of 2020 is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, the first book in the Last Hours series. I am so excited for... Wow, I want to say Ball of Iron coming next month. Chain of Iron? Coming out in 2021. I'm pumped. Chain of Gold takes place after The Infernal Devices, if you don't know. So if you read The Infernal Devices, then you can read Chain of Gold. This was so excellent, and there was so much friendship and so many love lines. Everything I love about Cassie's writing. It's hilarious. It's well crafted. The characters are amazing. There's Herondales in it. There are Carstairs in it. There are Lightwoods. All our favorite peeps are back, plus more. Cordelia is an amazing lead lady. I'm just really excited about more of this series. And Chain of Gold is crafted a little differently than we've seen Cassie craft her books before. There's a big part of this that goes back and forth between the past, when these characters were children, and the present. I really enjoyed that because we got to see all these little bits and bobs from the past and like put together more stuff. That's another thing I love about Cassie's books. Lots of riddles, lots of lines you can draw and put together and theorize. I'm real big on that shit. If you're new, I love books that are like puzzles. There's so much theorizing in the Shadowhunter books, and it's so much fun because Cassie is so good at this shit. Plus, hilarious. She's real funny. Plus, This cover, you guys. This is one of the most beautiful Shadowhunter series covers. No doubt about it. Oh my god, we're down to the top 2. I'm wearing a pair of the 15 new pairs of sweatpants that I own. I wear them every day now that I have a puppy. I need to wear sweatpants because he eats my clothes. 2! Top 2 books of 2020. What are they? Coming in at number 2 is none other than Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City. You guys, this book emotionally slayed me in all the way. What is happening with my outfit? It's not that cute because it's 2020. Get over it. My hair is always a mess because it's 2020 and it needs to be cut and styled and balayaged. Crescent City. I did an extensive book talk about Crescent City. It's on my Poland Bananas 20 channel if you want to look at it. I'll link it in the description. I had so much fun. I read this book with my eyes because there's so much world building. World building can be hard to pick up via audiobook if you're a visual learner. Like, I bring up a fact in my head that I learned from a book, like I see it on the page. I read it in a combination of on my phone and with this big jooch of a book, and it was so excellent. This new fantasy world, the characters are so much fun, so endearing. At its core, this is a friendship book. It is about 2 best friends, and I felt their relationship, felt it so hard. I can't tell you anything else. You have to read it if you haven't yet. If you like Sarah J. Maas's books, you're probably gonna love it as much as I do. I can't wait for whatever comes next in this series. I feel like this is gonna be a big series. It's already a huge book. There's so much in it. There's so much groundwork. There's so many characters. There's so many things. That's just, I'm so excited for more. It was so good. It was so good. It was so excellent. So. I loved our lead character, Bryce, and Danica for life. I love Danica so much. I can't remember anyone else's name right now because I'm stuck on Bryce and Danica, but I felt so much reading this. I think this is the book that I felt the most all year. It's really close to number 1 because it emotionally murdered me in the best way. I couldn't talk right for 2 weeks after that book talk because I was crying during the book talk. You're not supposed to cry and be loud at the same time. Unbeknownst to me, I had to do vocal therapy. And I was like, yeah, my voice got destroyed from a book talk. She's like, what was different? And I was like, I was crying hysterically throughout most of it. And she was like, that's really bad. Now when I start to cry, I have to take a breather until I could just talk again without crying so I don't murder my vocal cords. What's happening to my hair? I don't know. It's 2020. Oh my gosh, we've reached number 1. Number one. Oh, you know what? I just thought of an honorable mention. The second book in the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. That's my honorable mention. If I had read it when I was less distracted, I think it would be on this list, but since I was really moving, it's on my honorable mention list. It was really good. It had so many great themes. It did those themes so well and shifted my perspective in a way that I haven't been shifted before, and I loved it. It was all about what it means to be human and seeing us from other beings' eyes. This was real good. If you haven't read Skyward, oh, excellent. I think that was on my list 2 years ago. Back to number 1. Looking out for number 1. Remember that Sky Sweetnam song, Number 1? I loved that song.
Now I'm living on the roof, looking out for number 1.
Of 2020 is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Oh my god. This book was so dark and so good. I don't like horror books, but this isn't horror, but it's really dark and it's really excellent. And I did the audiobook and I did it at the end of 2019. It's number 1 on a technicality for 2020. It's really rated R. If you feel you are too used to handle extreme rated R-ness, don't pick this up yet. Our main protagonist is college age. She ends up at Yale and she ends up involved in these secret societies. I don't want to call it urban fantasy because it's super grounded, but these secret societies have the ability to do different types of magic. Said magic involves weird rituals, and I don't want to spoil anything. At its core, this is a big mystery novel. The characters are so strong and they're so flawed, so broken in so many different ways. This is supposed to be a 7-book series. I'm on eggshells for the next one. I want it right now, and since I did not read this with my eyes, I feel like I'm losing all the intricacies of these different societies. By the end of this book, I knew all of these different societies, what was what, and who was who, and I feel like I'm gonna have to reread this before I read the next one in the series. series, but I don't care. It is excellent. I need to do a new best audiobooks video because I've listened to a lot of good audiobooks since that one. This being one of them. Magnificent audiobook, magnificent book. Really creepy at times, but like creepy in a creepy thriller way, not creepy in a like, hide in my room type of way. You know, I could read this at night. Could I? Yes. I just kept listening to it. The last time that I was home at my family's was when I was listening to Ninth House, and I'd listen to it anytime I was in a room by myself. I'd have that baby on. It was so good. I cannot wait for more. I cannot stress how captivating this mystery was, this world was of secret societies. And again, like, I want to stress that it's an adult novel. There are trigger warnings, I'm sure, for this book, so I would take a look at them if you're concerned. But the hype is real. It is excellent. It always pops up in my head, like always. I always think about like, oh yeah, that thing from Ninth House, or like that reminds me of Ninth House, or when is the next Ninth House? What will book 2 be called? 10th House? It's so good. That's all I have to say about this one. So fucking good. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my favorite books of 2020. What a year, folks. What a year. I'd love to hear what your list is. Before I let you go, I gotta do some housekeeping today. It's been a while. If you don't know, I am an author. My debut came out in 2019. It's called Again But Better. The paperback, which is pink and has a bonus chapter that comes at the end, is coming out next April, 2021, April 6th. It's currently available for pre-order. And even more exciting, my second book, Better Together, is available for pre-order. It's a rom-com drama about 2 sisters. It's inspired by The Parent Trap, but there's also romance going on and a little bit of magic. I'm so excited to share it with y'all. It comes out June 1st, 2021. The link is at the top of the description below. My name's Christine, if you still didn't know. I'm at XTeenMate on Twitter. I'm at XTeenMate on Instagram. If you use Facebook, I have a page there as well. Those are my main socials. I really appreciate you finding me on those places. Please leave your favorites of 2020 in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye!